How can they say they love JUNGKOOK while ignoring what Taehyung means to them? That contradiction only shows that you're not seeing what they're experiencing, but what you want to believe. JUNGKOOK and Taehyung have shared more than 10 years together, growing as people, as artists, and as a couple. One cannot talk about JUNGKOOK without including Taehyung, because their paths constantly intertwine. Over time, they have shown mutual respect, sincere care, and a connection that goes beyond what is seen on cameras or in performances. Often, attempts are made to justify these attacks with supposedly forced moments or interpretations, where context or intention are completely ignored. Some JUNGKOOKers claim that Taehyung acts to prevent a relationship between JUNGKOOK and Jimin, as if his sole purpose was to block something. But this theory is meaningless and baseless. The truth is that Taehyung has always been concerned about JUNGKOOK's well-being, and this is evident in how he cares for him, how he watches over him, and how he makes decisions together with him. Taehyung's affection for JUNGKOOK has been evident from their early years. He defends him, guides him, and also listens to him. In turn, JUNGKOOK responds with the same energy. He looks on with admiration, silently protects him, and lets him care for him. This kind of dynamic isn't born by chance or strategy. It's the result of years of sharing experiences and forming an unbreakable bond. Many people use the word love to justify attacks that have no logical or emotional basis. Some claim to support JUNGKOOK, but at the same time insult or discredit Taehyung. When Taehyung smiles at JUNGKOOK without saying anything, he's already said it all. There are looks that can't be rehearsed or faked. When JUNGKOOK and Taehyung are together, they don't need to say much. They communicate with their gaze, with small gestures, with smiles that appear at just the right moment. For some people who don't want to accept what's between them, it all seems like a coincidence. But if you look closely, you notice there's something deeper going on. Every time one speaks, the other listens without distraction, as if everything else ceases to exist for a few seconds. That attention isn't common. It's a way of caring about what the other says, of giving value to every word. When Taehyung speaks, JUNGKOOK doesn't interrupt him or look away. He observes him with respect and with something that goes beyond the superficial. And when JUNGKOOK speaks, Taehyung does the same. His eyes always go straight to him. They don't do it out of habit or politeness. They do it because they choose each other, and that choice is repeated in every moment, big or small. Many Taekook fans notice, when JUNGKOOK smiles at Taehyung, that smile has a special meaning. It's not just joy, it's connection. The same goes for Taehyung. His expressions toward JUNGKOOK always have a distinct quality, as if he's speaking a language only they know. This kind of connection is based on genuine affection, mutual trust, and a shared history that doesn't need external approval to be true. It's no coincidence that even when the cameras aren't focused on them, JUNGKOOK and Taehyung seek each other out as if connected by an invisible thread. At every performance, event, or offstage moment, the connection between Taehyung and JUNGKOOK has become increasingly clear. These aren't baseless theories or fan-edited moments. What you perceive is in the way they touch each other, constantly seeking each other out even when there are no lights shining on them. From lingering hugs to barely perceptible touches, their gestures are loaded with meaning. You can't ignore the way they look at each other. JUNGKOOK's gaze toward Taehyung isn't quick, casual, or forced, it's a sustained gaze, conveying protection, trust, and a silent affirmation that he knows him better than anyone. Those who follow Taehyung and JUNGKOOK closely know that there's a difference between an affectionate gesture without context and a display of deep connection. There's no emotional distance between them. In every fan cam, you can see moments when one person turns their head to find the other, even in the midst of chaos. This isn't something you see with just anyone. It's a constant pattern, repeated over time, with a particular energy shared only by each other. In interviews, when one speaks, the other watches them intently, as if they already know what they're going to say. Moreover, every gesture and every shared laugh becomes further evidence that they are connected in a way that goes beyond the visible. It's not about interpreting what isn't there. It's about accepting what is already there, a closeness that's impossible to hide. There's no logical explanation that could justify such intensity if it were simply a shared relationship. This is different. Those who claim to support JUNGKOOK but insult Taehyung aren't defending him, they're using his name to create conflict. This not only damages the fandom, but also betrays the respect they have earned over the years. Taehyung fans have said it many times, the love JUNGKOOK and Taehyung share needs no explanation, only respect. When you look closely at JUNGKOOK and Taehyung's history, you can see something many prefer to ignore: they have chosen to be together, even when it has meant facing criticism, rumors, or misunderstandings. It's no coincidence that after so many years, they continue to show closeness, sharing important moments, and making decisions that demonstrate a clear unity. In the fandom, there is a tendency to divide, as if there were opposing sides. But that idea has nothing to do with what happens between JUNGKOOK and Taehyung. They never showed any signs of competition or rivalry. On the contrary, their behavior has always been supportive, accompanying each other every step of the way. Even when rumors grow, they remain constant. That's not achieved through friendship or camaraderie, it's only achieved when there's a voluntary and firm choice to be together. Many don't understand that their closeness isn't based solely on the physical or visible. Their bond goes beyond what's shown in interviews or concerts. It's a relationship built on everyday life, on small gestures, on unspoken words. They've lived through difficult times, important decisions, and yet, they've decided to continue walking together. No matter how many try to tarnish their name or minimize what they've built, they're still there, together, staying true to what they feel. And that says more than any edited video or malicious comment. JUNGKOOK and Taehyung aren't together out of obligation. They're together because they've decided to choose each other, even in the midst of chaos, even when some seek to separate them with false ideas. In the entertainment world, rumors always appear. Many seek to create false stories about JUNGKOOK and Taehyung, trying to make others doubt what they show every day. But, despite everything that is said, they remain the same, united, present for each other, without letting those meaningless words change the way they treat each other. They don't respond with anger or explanations. They respond with facts, with moments where their connection seems stronger than ever. One of the most striking things is how they manage to stay close even when many people try to separate them with baseless theories or comments. They don't distance themselves, they don't act differently. They continue to seek each other out, they continue to share, they continue to show themselves as they are. This shows that what exists between them doesn't depend on the opinions of others. It depends only on them, on their decision to stay together regardless of what others say. When rumors or negative comments arise, they don't react directly. They simply continue to show how they feel in the way they treat each other. The glances remain the same, the smiles don't change, and the affectionate gestures remain. This leaves many people who try to create divisions without arguments. Because what Taehyung shows is stronger than any attempt to create conflict. What some people can't stand is seeing such a solid and constant relationship. They try to attack it because they can't understand it. But that doesn't change the fact that Taehyung and JUNGKOOK have chosen to be on the same side, even when they could have distanced themselves due to external pressures. The decision to continue sharing, to remain connected, doesn't come from an obligation, but from a clear will. Those who try to justify Taehyung and JUNGKOOK's attitudes with phrases like, "It's part of their culture" or "they're just performing for the fans" are ignoring what's right before their eyes. When two people perform, there are rehearsals, choreography, and planned moments. But what happens between them appears in spontaneous moments, unscripted, unplanned. It's the body's natural response to being around someone important. That tension you feel when they're together, that air that catches when you look at each other for even a second longer, is impossible to fake. It's not about them smiling or hugging. It's what happens just before and just after, the quick glances at the floor, the hidden smiles, the nervous gestures. These are signs that appear when there's something real to protect. It's no coincidence that they seek each other out even when they think no one is watching. This happens behind the scenes, in unedited live broadcasts, in moments that aren't meant to attract attention. It's in these spaces where their connection is most strongly displayed. Because they're not acting. They're being themselves. Every time their hands touch, it's not by accident. Every time they get closer than necessary, it's not because they don't have space. It's because they don't want the distance. And that constant need for emotional and physical closeness has been repeating itself for years, growing over time. There's a clear difference between general affection and silent intimacy. JUNGKOOK doesn't hug everyone the same way. Taehyung doesn't look at everyone the way he looks at JUNGKOOK. That distinction is the key. It's not about what they do, but how they do it and with whom they do it. And in their case, it's always between them. The way they care for each other, the way they understand each other without speaking, shows that what exists between them cannot be defined as a mere coincidence. We're not watching a planned performance for entertainment. We're seeing a relationship built in private, which spills out into public without them being able, or willing, to fully hide it.